Women have been conditioned by society to be, act, and think a certain way. Here at Girls IRL, we encourage women to challenge societal norms and embrace their femininity. With that being said, let's get into this week's episode. Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Girls in Real Life podcast. I'm your host, Mariah Clayton. And if you're watching on YouTube, then you might notice we're in a little bit of a different spot right now. I am currently in my bedroom, well, me and Justin's bedroom. I don't even know if you guys can see the bed is halfway made, but I didn't feel like making it fully. So anyways, I am filming and recording in here because Justin is working from home today, and it's a Wednesday, and Wednesdays are my days to film and record the podcast because Mondays and Wednesdays is when my nanny comes, and I don't like to record on Mondays, so I just save it for Wednesdays. But he decided to work from home today, so I was like, you know what? I could say that I'm going to record later tonight or tomorrow or Friday, but I know that I wouldn't. So I was like, I just need to figure out how I can record. And I just brought all my stuff in here. And that's kind of the good thing about the equipment that I have, the USB mic situation, because I can literally just kind of pick up and record anywhere as long as I have my computer and my mic. And headphones are optional. I just honestly like to wear my headphones because they look good. So I can also, oh my God, I cannot talk. Can I talk? I can record from anywhere, which is nice. So I don't have to be in the office per se, but I do like it because I have my cute little pink chair and my little corner and everything right there on my desk. So it just makes it a little bit easier, but this is cool too. Hopefully this is the only time I have to do this, but anyways, I guess that doesn't really matter. Also, I wanted to apologize for the audio last week because as I was editing the episode, I realized that it was just the internal mic on my computer that recorded. And I was like, what the heck? I don't understand why this keeps happening to me. For the past month, I have just been having issues with either the audio or the video or both at the same time. And it is so frustrating because I feel like I'm paying attention. I'm just trying to do what needs to be done. And my equipment just keeps playing games on me. But I honestly think it has a lot to do with my laptop. My laptop is old, y'all. I have a MacBook Air from when did I get this? Probably 2018 because I got it whenever I started going to graduate school. And I mean, it's years old, obviously, and also probably needs to be updated and all kinds of stuff. So I really do think that it's just the computer's fault as to why the audio was acting the way it is, because it's definitely not the microphone. If I hook this mic up to a different computer, it's going to record. And hopefully it's recording right now. I keep looking down because I'm looking at my computer and just trying to make sure that this is the right microphone, and I'm pretty sure it is. So fingers crossed we get it right this time. And the lighting in here is so weird. I'm doing natural light right now, so it looks a little dark. Hold on, can I? Ooh, yeah, no, it looks a little dark. At first I had this window open to let light in, and it was too bright because the sun was out, but now the sun decided to go away. So maybe, hold on, I'm gonna just open it really quickly. Hang on. Oh, see what I'm saying? It just looks weird. All right, I'm gonna close it back. All right, I'm doing too much, y'all. I'm sorry. Anyways, happy Monday. How are you guys doing? Are we all adjusting to this daylight savings time ending? Because we are all out of whack over here in the Clayton/Hutchinson household. Ace's naps have been so crazy. The day of that daylight savings time ended, we had to keep him up the extra hour or whatever. So instead of putting him to bed at 7:15, we tried to wait until 8 o'clock, just try push it back as much as we could, and thought that was gonna help, but it didn't, because he still woke up at 5:30, and I had to go get him and bring him to bed. And then even just these past couple of days, he's been waking up at 5:30, 6:30, because he thinks that it's 7:30, and it's really not. So I'm trying to it's been a struggle. And then also his naps, he's waking up earlier, so he's taking his naps earlier in the day. And so by the time nighttime comes around, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, he's sleepy because he's like taking naps earlier, so he wants to go to sleep like sooner, if that makes sense. So I've just been trying to like keep him up. He's been so fussy. So it's just really been a big adjustment over here, and I hate this time of year because it just gets so dark outside so fast, and it's really upsetting because me and Ace, we go on our daily little walks, and we have a friend in the neighborhood that we go and like take our walks with, and it used to be fun. Like we used to be able to go at like 6 or 6:30, when the sun was kind of setting and it was just a nice cool breeze outside. And now if you don't get outside by like 4:30, it's too dark to go on a walk. So it's just been a big adjustment, as I'm sure it's been for everybody else in the world. And I don't know why, like, because I could have swore that there was like a bill that passed about how it would just be daylight savings time all the time. And I really don't know like what happened with that, because I thought that was like during COVID that happened. But I don't know. It feels like a fever dream or something. I can't remember what went on with that. But anyways, what is going on this week? The day I'm recording this is my twin sister's birthday. So I don't know if you guys remember. If you've been a long time listener of the podcast, then you might remember the episode that I did with my younger sisters a few years ago, and they were like 10 at that time, and now they are turning 13 years old. So it's just crazy to me. Like, I cannot believe how much they've grown, how their personalities have developed. Like, they're their own little person, and it's just so cute and so cool to witness, especially being that like I practically helped raise them. I like to say that I was a mom at 14 because me and my older sisters, well, I have one older sister and then a sister right under me, but like us three, we all pretty much helped raise our younger siblings and bring them up, and was washing bottles and not making bottles. We were washing bottles, changing diapers, babysitting, putting them to sleep, getting them dressed, doing their hair, everything, right? Like, we helped our parents out a lot. So it's just so interesting to see how much they've grown. And I'm so, so proud of them. They are the sweetest little girls that you'll probably ever meet in your life. They are so selfless and loving and funny. Like, I'm absolutely so proud of them. I'm sure we're going to celebrate with them over the weekend, so that should be fun. I really don't know what much else we're doing this week. Oh, I meant to tell you guys. So yesterday, when you guys are listening to this is way last week, but it doesn't even matter. So yesterday, Justin is just like scrolling on Instagram, and he sees this house. Like, he follows a realtor, like I guess one of his friends is a realtor, and he sees this house that they posted that was for sale in Zachary, because we have been thinking about moving back to Zachary. Well, he's never lived in Zachary, but for me, I'd be moving back to Zachary, just to like be closer to my family and my parents and free babysitters and all that kind of stuff, right? I just think we've been thinking about, like, where do we want to live? Where does Ace want to go to school and all of that stuff? And we're really open to the idea of like moving to Zachary. So when he saw this house, he sends it to me, and it's a newly renovated house. It's 5 bedrooms. It has a huge living room, a big kitchen, like very open floor plan. It has a big backyard. There's even like a man cave back there with like electricity running through it. There's a shed. There's a 2 car garage, and it was just really nice, right? And it was like a really decent price, like 300 something range. And we were like, oh yeah, we want to go see it. So we text my sister, because she works in real estate law, and she knows this, what do they do? They show like the houses, the realtor, right? Realtor. Right. So anyways, we hit him up and we're like, hey, we really want to go see this house. Can we go see it tomorrow? Which is technically today, the day that I'm filming this episode recording. And he was like, yeah, like y'all can come by and we'll go and walk through the house. And so we continue like looking at pictures of the house, and we continue like talking about it just to make sure that's something that we really want to do. And Justin is like, man, 5 bedrooms, a man cave with electricity, a big yard, a garage. It's 2 stories. Da 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 da. Like, what's the catch? And in my mind, I'm like, there's no catch. Like, we deserve to go see this house because it's a nice house. It's a great price. It's super close to my parents. Like, it's just, if it's meant for us, like, this is why it's good, because it's supposed to be meant for us. Like, that's what I'm thinking in my mind. Like, we're going to go see this house and we're going to fall in love with it and we're going to buy it and we're going to move and it's going to be great. So Justin is like, no, something has to be up with this house. So he Googles the address of the house, and y'all would not believe, y'all would not believe what pops up about this house. So apparently, back in 2020, there was a murder suicide that happened in that house that we were going to go and walk through. What had happened was, it was this old man. He was 77 years old. And the day before the crimes happened, his wife had passed away. And what they think is that he couldn't bear with the thought of like his wife passing away, and he just went into like this depression. It was the midst of the pandemic. He was probably depressed and all kinds of stuff. So this man ended up killing that woman's daughter, so his stepdaughters, which were twin girls. So he was their stepdad, and he ended up shooting them both in that house and then killed himself in that house. And Justin, as soon as he read that, he's like, nope, we're not going to see that house. Like, it's just not even a possibility anymore. Like, tell our realtor to cancel the showing. Like, we don't even need to step foot in that house. And me, I'm trying to be like Miss Optimistic, because I'm thinking 5 bedrooms. Well, that means one of those bedrooms could be my beauty room, my filming room, my walk-in closet room. Like, I could do whatever I want with this room. So I'm like, well, maybe we just need to still go see it. You know, like, it's okay. They renovated it. It's fine. And Justin is like, are you crazy? We are not stepping foot in that house. Like, there was killings that happened in that house. The energy is bad in the house. There's probably demons in that house. And I was like, I think you're being dramatic. Like, I think it would be okay. We could just need to go and see it first. Like, let's see if we even like it before we just decide to like not go and visit it. And he's like, absolutely not. We are not going to visit that house. Like, because we had just watched a whole bunch of scary movies, specifically The Conjuring, which is based on a true story of these people buying this house for a good deal. It was an old house, and it was a great deal because there was like murders and killings that happened in that house, and the husband ended up getting possessed and almost killed the entire family. So Justin was like, we are not going to see the house. Like, I'm sorry. And he thinks that I'm crazy because I was still so on board with going to see the house and just walk through it and see what it felt like. So he thinks that I need to talk to Jesus more, which I probably do. But for me, I'm just like, I feel like I don't, it's not that I don't need to be scared of demons, but I feel like if that was the house for us, and like God kind of like placed all this into motion, then we wouldn't be haunted, you know? Like, I'm blessed and highly favored. So I believe like I got the covering of Jesus over my life. I don't need to be scared of no demons. I can cast out anything. I can rebuke anything, and like I'm gonna be fine. So that's kind of like my thinking behind it, is like I'm not scared about being possessed or whatever the case may be, because like I got the Lord on my side fighting for me. But he brought up the point that like the priests would go into like these haunted houses and try and do like exorcists and stuff and like deal with all these demons, and like just because they were blessed or whatever didn't mean that the demons didn't mess with them, which was true, I guess. So I guess the question that I have to ask you guys now is, would you live in a house that you know a crime happened there? Like, somebody was murdered, somebody was killed, somebody committed suicide, maybe there was like a robbery and somebody got shot. I don't know. Like, would you willingly live in a house that you know something terrible happened in? Because for me, I'm like, well, let's just see if we like the house first, and then we can decide from there. Like, that's all I was trying to get to. It was a super cute house, y'all, and like the yard was huge. I was thinking about like having my lemon tree back there, or having a dog, and like Ace being able to run around and like all kinds of stuff. And so I was just like, I'm the type of person that like, when I see stuff like that, I start daydreaming about it and I start to like get my hopes up a little bit. So when I realized that we really weren't going to see the house, I was a little bit sad and upset because, you start thinking about all the things like how you can make a house a home. And I hadn't even seen the house yet. So that was just a whole nother thing. Like, I don't need to like get my hopes up like that. But, anyways, I wouldn't say that we were like necessarily looking to move. We've had a couple of opportunities that have presented themselves that have got us thinking about moving. So it's something that we've been talking about for months now. And we're actually going to visit two other houses today that are kind of in the same neighborhood and the same vicinity, but they're not haunted or had any murders happen in them that we know. So we're still gonna go and look at some houses today and just see what the vibe is. But we're not, I wouldn't say we're in a rush to move, but I do think that like we have to decide, like what do we want for our future, And for me, I've always envisioned raising my family in Louisiana. Even though I did have those dreams of, like moving to another city and getting out of Louisiana and all of that stuff, I always knew that I would eventually come back here to raise my family because I don't know. I don't envision myself raising my family anywhere else. Like this is where I grew up. This is where I lived. This is like home to me. And I don't think that I could ever raise Ace in like Dallas or Atlanta or LA or New York. Like, absolutely not. Like, I love the vibe of Louisiana, even though I tried to run away from it a lot. I think that was just like at a time in my life where I just was craving something different because, like I was just going through a breakup. I had never lived by myself before. And it was just a lot of things that I never truly felt like I got to experience. So I wanted to get out of Louisiana. But like I said, I always knew in the back of my mind that I would eventually come back here to raise my family. So I am excited that we're starting to look at houses. It definitely is a goal of ours to have a house. I mean, we have a house now, but obviously a bigger house with a bigger yard and more land. I think that's every country girl's dream, is to just like live on a big old plot of land with a bunch of trees and a wraparound porch and a big backyard and dogs and all that stuff, right? So I'm excited to think about the possibility of having all of that. And this would not be like our forever home if we, end up liking any of the houses that we're going to look at today. It wouldn't end up being our forever home, but I do think that we would live there for a few years. But eventually we do want to just like find a big old plot of land and build our dream house, which is funny because me and Justin actually have very different tastes in houses. I love a good like plantation style home, big and white oak trees lining the driveway, a wraparound porch, a balcony, a big backyard, like all of that. And he is very much like modern. Like I feel like if he could have a freaking steel house, he probably would. He would add some little things in there, but I'm much more on like the vintage old homey side, and he is more so on like the modern side of everything. So it'll be interesting to see like what we end up building when we do decide to build. But obviously that is years and years and years down the line. And I don't even know why I'm talking to y'all about this, but it's because y'all my girls. I know I'm talking to y'all about this. I just don't know why I'm going on a tangent about it. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started into what this episode is about. And we're gonna be talking about anticipatory anxiousness. And I just discovered this last night. I was kind of just researching because I had a moment maybe like last week or 2 weeks ago where I was just kind of feeling really anxious about the future and like worried about being able to accomplish everything that I want to accomplish and making my dreams come true and all of this stuff. And I was just kind of having like an anxious moment in time. And so ended up researching and I came across anticipatory anxiousness. And I don't think that I have this because there are a couple of different things that you need to have in order to be like diagnosed with it. But I do just kind of want to read a little bit of what they said that it is because I feel like it's relatable. And I feel like a lot of us especially during this time of year where it's coming up on the new year and another year has passed, our birthday is coming up, like whatever the case may be, when we have time to kind of reflect on the year that has passed and like reflecting on all the things that we did and all of the things that we didn't do and all of the things that we still want to do, it can cause you to be a little bit anxious about the future because it's like, do we have enough time to accomplish all of our goals? Do we have enough time to do the things that we want to do? And it can be scary because everything is just like unknown. So anyways, I'm going to read this. And yeah, it says, anticipatory anxiety is worry about the future, the fear that bad things might happen or that you might become unable to successfully accomplish what you set out to do. So that's the definition. And then the more research I did on it was kind of tying anticipatory anxiousness to like a big life moment or a big like decision that you had to make, or even just like a fear or phobia of something, that like maybe you have a fear of flying and you have this anticipatory anxiousness of getting on the plane in 2 weeks, so like you're anticipating your fear of being scared on the plane, right? Does that make sense? So I knew that like it's a little bit deeper than what I just read. I guess not deeper, but I guess a little bit more specific than what I just said. But for me, this is kind of like generalized anxiety about the future. So I don't have anxiety about one specific thing. I just kind of have this anxiety of the overview of the future, if that makes sense. Because how can I explain this? I know that I live a good life, okay? I know that I have a very privileged life. I live in a house. I have a man. I have a child. I get to be a stay-at-home mom. I get to do what I love. I get to create. I get to have freedom, right? Like, I understand that I live a very beautiful life. And to some of you guys from the outside looking in, you might say that I have the perfect life. Like you might aspire to live the life that I have. And I say all that to say, I know that I'm blessed. I know that I'm in a good spot in my life. However, I still have a lot of anxiety about the future and what the future is going to look like and what I'm going to be doing and how I'm even going to get there. So it's so hard to explain because on the one hand, like I said, I know how great of a life that I have, but also at the same time, I know that my life could be better, but I have this fear about my life being better because I don't know the ins and outs of how I'm going to make it better. Am I making any sense? Okay, let me just kind of backtrack a little bit because I kind of had this moment, like I said, a few weeks ago where I literally had a breakdown. I was like kind of crying, not kind of, I was crying. And it's because I was just thinking about, like I said, I know me and Justin, we want to have a house and I want to have a new car and I want to be able to just like live life freely and, be able to take care of Ace and not have any worries and stop checking my bank account every time I like go to the store, right? Like, those little tiny things. And I was just having a moment where I was scared because I know that I don't have a job, right? Let's just start there. I don't have a job. And the job that I do have of being a content creator is very inconsistent. So for me, I don't know what's going on. So for me, what makes me nervous is, I guess, the financial part of it mostly, because I know that like living life takes money. And right now, I don't feel like I have enough money. And I'm scared about the future because I don't know how, when, or if I'm going to have enough money. So it kind of just like has this domino effect of, oh my gosh, I don't have a job. I don't know if I'm going to get to have any money. I don't know if we're ever going to get to buy a house. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to buy my own car. I don't know how I'm going to make sense of everything in my life. Like, it just kind of has this snowball effect of like you start worrying about one thing and then it kind of transitions into another thing, and it becomes this whole thing of like this generalized fear of the future and how things are going to work out and when they're going to work out. And that's what I don't like about the future, is kind of like this unknown space, right? Even from a young age, like I knew that I was always destined for greatness. I knew that I was always going to be somebody. Like I just had an inkling about myself. I knew that my life was going to work out in a way that I would have a platform of some sort. I didn't know that it would be this. I didn't know that I would have a podcast or like 100,000 followers on TikTok or 10,000 followers on Instagram. Like I didn't know that it would be this. I thought it was going to be me being a freaking actress or a model or something like that. But it came in a different way. But I always knew that I was meant for a life like this. And I just never knew how I was going to get there. So I would always have a lot of fear about that and like what I was going to do and how was I going to make money and how was I going to, make my dreams a reality. And I feel like I'm doing that now. So I don't really have fear about that necessarily. I guess the fear comes in surrounded by I wish I could explain this better. Like I really think it's just centered around finances for me at this point, because I do know that at 27 years old, I'm probably not making the amount of money that I should. And so I feel inferior in that way. And I just feel like I'm unpacking so much on y'all right now. But I don't even know where I'm going with this. I have this fear about the future and how we're going to get there, right? So I have this anticipatory anxiety of my life, basically. And it's like, I know that I've been trying to remind myself that life isn't really as serious as we make it out to be. Like, we're literally tiny organisms in the scheme of like a super large galaxy and universe, Like I understand and I know that life is not that big of a deal, but you kind of, if you start thinking about it too much, you can kind of start having these like existential crises where nothing makes sense, right? Like nothing makes sense. You don't know what your purpose is. You don't know how you're going to survive or get through, and it could just be a lot. Okay, I hope I'm not alone in what I'm feeling. I hope I'm making some kind of sense, because right now it just sounds like I'm rambling to myself. But this is just where I'm at right now. This is what I'm feeling. So I say all of that to say, I feel like my anxiousness about my future is kind of limiting me from enjoying my present, if that makes sense. Like it's stopping me from enjoying this present moment and what I have right now. I'm so concerned about the things that I don't have and the things that I want to get and the life that I want to live, that I'm completely neglecting how good and amazing this moment is. It's like I'm not allowing myself to be fully happy right now because I'm constantly trying to attain something greater, something better, something bigger. And it's stopping me from being 100% like happy in this moment. Not to say that I'm not happy in this moment, but I find myself being so worried and concerned about like the next thing that it makes it hard for me to kind of just sit and enjoy this where I'm at right now. Does that make sense? Oh my gosh, I really might just scrap this whole episode, y'all. I don't even know. But I really think also for me, there's a lot of things that I still just don't understand. And being an entrepreneur and not working under someone else, there are a lot of things that like you have to figure out by yourself, like retirement, taxes, like all of this stuff that I don't even want to get into because it literally just makes my brain hurt. So a lot of things that like people naturally have taken care for them, like through their job or made easy for them through their job, I'm having to figure out by myself. So that just kind of adds like a whole nother element to it of just like, I really don't know what's going on and I don't know how I got here and I don't know what I'm doing. So I guess the point that I'm trying to get at is I feel like I am scared because I don't know how it's going to happen. To make a long story short, I'm scared of the future because I don't know how it's going to come together. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know that it is. And that's where me and Justin kind of differ, is because I'm very much like a go with the flow type of person. Whatever happens is going to happen. And I've just been like that my entire life. And I never really had a plan for anything. And Justin is a planner. And so when we have these conversations about like, what do we want our future to look like? What do we want our goals to be for the next year? How are we going to get there? I don't like to think about that kind of stuff because that is where it gives me anxiety, because I don't know how we're going to get there. I just know that we're going to get there and we're going to figure it out along the way. And so I think that's kind of what Justin has been trying to just teach me, is like, you can't just decide to buy a house overnight and like go and do it, right? Like there's steps that have to be taken. There are things that need to be put in place. There are conversations that need to be had in order for this to even be a possibility. So I tell Justin, and he knows this about me, I don't like to have serious conversations. I don't like to have deep conversations about life and goal setting and how we're going to make such and such happen. I just want to look at the end thing and then somehow magically appear there. And I feel like a lot of y'all, that would probably shock you, because I talk a lot about planning and being proactive and all this stuff. And that's because that is who I want to be. It's just not inherently who I am. So I feel like I have to work harder in order to be that person. And even now, just kind of like reflecting on the year that has passed and like looking at my vision board that I see every single day that I open up my laptop, and I'm looking at all of the things that I said that I was going to do that I haven't done. I understand why I haven't done it, and it's because I didn't plan. Like I just kind of put it on there as like, this is the big goal, this is what I want to do, but I didn't really plan for how I wanted to get there. And so now at the end of the year, I'm looking back and I'm like, dang, well, why didn't I do this and this? Why didn't I do what I said I was going to do? And it's because you didn't think about it. You just thought that it was gonna happen, and like that's just not how life works. It just sucks because being an adult and being independent, like this is what being independent is. Like you have to figure out how things are going to work. Like nobody is going to figure it out for you. There's not some magic wand that you can just take and make your life whatever you want it to be. Like there has to be work and effort and progress put in to work towards the thing that you want. And like I said, this is something that Justin has been trying to get me to see and understand, because I feel like I come to him with ideas all the time. And I'm also working on a passion project right now with me and my sister. And I know what I want the end goal to look like, but the steps that it's taking for me to get there with this project, it's annoying. Like that's the thing about it, is like, why do I have to do this? Like I feel like I shouldn't have to do this. I feel like things should just come easy. And when they don't come easy, it's like, well, maybe I just wasn't meant to do it, right? Like, and I don't want to say that in like a quitting way. Sorry, my camera overheated and I had to turn it off and turn it back on. But as I was saying, I don't want to say that in a quitting way. Like I don't want to say that as in like, oh, if I can't make it happen overnight, then I don't want to do it. Like if it's too hard, I don't want to put in the work. Like that's not what I'm saying. It's more so the fact of, I'm annoyed by the fact that I do have to put in the work. Does that make sense? Like I feel like, oh, I shouldn't have to reach out to people. People need to reach out to me. I shouldn't have to make this conversation happen when like I don't, like I don't even know how to explain it. Like I feel like that just sounds really bad though, that like I don't feel like I shouldn't have to put in the work, but like everybody needs to put in the work for something. And I don't necessarily mind hard work It's just when you put in the work for so long and you're not seeing the results that you thought you were going to see, you get a little bit discouraged. Like, even for me with this podcast, I have been doing this podcast for the past 3 years and I love it and I will never stop doing it. But y'all have to know that there have been some times where I've told myself, I'm not getting paid to do this. I don't need to record this week. Nobody's going to miss if I don't post an episode. Nobody's going to know. Like, and I kind of put myself in this position of, because my podcast is not in the space that it needs to be, that means that I don't need to put in as much work towards it. Does that make sense? But I think that I know that I need to start thinking the opposite. Like, because my podcast is not where it needs to be, I need to be putting in more work and doing more things and probably posting more reels and posting more episodes and doing all the things that I need to be doing. But again, it can be a little bit discouraging because I feel like the things that I have been doing are a lot, and for me to like put in more time, more energy, more effort into something that has still not quote unquote reaped me the benefit in the way that I'm thinking, which is like money, then that means I'm not doing a good job, when that is so far from the truth. Like, I have so many of you guys who message me and tell me that like certain episodes help you and it's just what you needed to hear, and like, I'm your favorite podcast every week, and like, I love that. Like, that is what keeps me going, like knowing that there are people out there who consistently listen to me and actually care about what I have to say and take my advice or enjoy the things that I say. Like, that is really what keeps me going. But it's still just a little frustrating to see that, like, yeah, I've been doing this for 3 years and what do I have to show for it? I actually have a lot to show for it, and I'm super grateful for this platform. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like all of that together, that just kind of adds up into this anxiety that I have about the future, because it's like, damn, if I'm putting in the work now, if I'm doing all this stuff now, if I got 100,000 followers on TikTok now, why am I not a millionaire? Like, like, it's not computing to me. It's not making sense. So it causes me to have anxiety about the future, because it's like, what if what I'm doing now is not enough? What if I'm doing now is really just me wasting my time? What if I'm doing now is not leading me to where I actually need to go? And so that's where the anxiety comes from. And I've always had fear and anxiety about, am I walking in my purpose? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I'm scared to make this decision because I don't know if it's the right one. Like, I feel like I've said this to you guys so many times and kind of explained this about myself, but even though I know it about myself and even though I'm aware of it, it still doesn't make it any easier to kind of navigate. And I still have these moments where I'm like freaking out about my future and things that are supposed to be happening and like how it's going to happen and how I'm going to get there. I feel so long-winded right now. I don't even know if I'm making any sense to anybody, but I'm just honestly just talking. I don't have no notes. I keep looking down because I'm trying to make sure that my audio is still recording, because it's cut off so many times you guys wouldn't even know. Yeah, and it's just a lot. So I'm just keep looking down at my computer. If you see me looking down at my computer, that's why. But yeah, there's so much that in my brain that I can't really explain how I feel in, I guess, a coherent way without sounding crazy. But I'm just really sharing with you guys like my innermost thoughts. Like, these are the fears that I have. Like, the anxiety that I have is about like not reaching my full potential, not having enough, not getting to my goal. So I know what I need to do, and I know that like I need to ground myself. I probably need to journal, definitely need to pray. I know that I need to like write out my goals and make actual plans towards those goals, and not just say I'm going to do this with no clear direction or path as to how it's going to happen. I need to be more responsible. I need to be more disciplined. Like, there are a lot of things that I know that I need to do that I'm just not doing. And that's another thing, is just like finding the motivation. Like, yes, of course, everybody wants nice things. Everybody wants to be able to live the life of their dreams, but being able to have the discipline to be able to do that, like, that's a whole nother ball game. And, if you want to buy a house, like, stop spending money on clothes, stop going out to eat, stop traveling. Like, you have to be disciplined in so many different ways for so many different things if you want to achieve them. And if you can't like commit to the process, then it's never going to happen. And so I think for me, it's just that I've never fully committed to the process. I've just always thought, oh, life is great. Life is going to happen. Life is going to be lifing, and I'm just going to cruise my way through, and everything I want is just going to come to me because I'm blessed and highly favored. Like, that's really how I think sometimes. Like, God is on my side. I cannot fail. Yeah, that's true. But like, girly, you got to do what you got to do and put in the work for the things that you want, because faith without works is dead. And you can't achieve this dream life that you want, and you can't get rid of this anxiety about your future if you don't have a clear path to get there. So I don't know, y'all. I just feel like I just word vomited on y'all, and I don't even know if I can come to a conclusion. Like, that's why I just keep going on and on. Like, I don't know how I can come to a conclusion of this, because it's something that I'm actively working through, is like this anticipation of the future, this anticipatory anxiety about my life. And I think that it's all just kind of happening right now in this instance, because we are talking about buying a house, and I have Ace, and like I want him to have the best life possible. And then also I'm in the middle of like trying to find a job, and it's like I look at all these jobs and there's nothing that speaks out to me. There's nothing that I like. I feel like there's nothing that I'm qualified for. And like, how am I supposed to get a job if I didn't finish my graduate school degree? Like, you know, all of this stuff that just gives me so much anxiety. It makes me think about why the things in my life can't happen, right? So for me, I feel like a lot of my anxiety would go away if I had steady income and a consistent job. I feel like money, like I said at the beginning, is a big factor of this for me, just because I need it. Like everybody needs it. And it's just a lot, y'all. It's just a lot. And I've been seeing all of these TikTok videos about how influencers are going back to 9-to-5 jobs because the industry is just so inconsistent. And, you know, like, why? I guess thinking back to like why I wanted to be a full-time content creator is because I love creative freedom. I love being able to just create whenever. I love being able to just like get up and go and do whatever. There's a lot of money in this business. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I've had great brand deals. I've had 4-figure brand deals, 5-figure brand deals. And like, I know that it's possible, but at the same time, like I said, the industry is so inconsistent that it's like, if you are not Monet McMichael or Alex Earl or Jackie Ina, like, there it's I don't want to say it's impossible to solely do that as your job, but it does make it quite a lot harder, and you do have to have a lot more discipline and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a lot that goes into it. But for me, I think that if I secured a job that was a decent amount of money, I don't even need a 6-figure job. Like, give me 50K, give me 60, 65, 70, right? Like, I don't need $100,000 job. And then also with Justin, I know that like a 2-income household would be way better. Like, right now, Justin is doing a lot by himself. I have the things that I take care of, which is like groceries, utilities, and all that stuff. But Justin pays the bulk of like everything. And I know that he doesn't mind doing it, because obviously he's the person that is allowing me to like do what I want to do. He is pushing me to be like, you can do it. Like, he is the one motivating me right now. But I also know that like it would take a lot off of our plates if I could just find a good job. And I want a remote job that's going to pay me a good like $60,000 a year that I can just do from my home and not exert too much energy. And I think that's my problem too, is like, I just want to make money and have an easy job without like putting in too much effort. You know what I'm saying? Because why do I want to give all my energy and effort to a business and corporation when I could be giving that same energy to myself? And that was another reason why I wanted to do content creation full time, was because like I wanted to take take a chance on myself. I wanted to bet on myself. I wanted to prove to myself that like this is something that I could do. This is something that I can manage. And not that I can't. Again, it's not that I can't do it, but with having Ace in the picture, I just think a lot of things changed, and it's causing me to have more anxiety about things that I was not having anxiety about before. So it's just all regurgitating itself up in this like new way of like, dang, I really have a family, I have a child, and I need to ensure that he is going to be set for his life. And right now the content creation industry is just, whew, it's wishy-washy, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna have to end this episode here because I really don't think that there is a conclusion that I can come to that I can give y'all that would be motivational or inspirational. I think this is just real life, and I think this is just me telling y'all about things that I'm going through in a real and raw way. Like, it might not have made any sense to you. It might just be like my brain running 100 miles a minute, but this is this is how my brain works, okay? So I guess if you are struggling with the same thing that I'm struggling with, like fear of the future, this anticipatory anxiety about things that are happening in your life, or you don't know how they're going to happen in your life, like, I think at the end of the day, we know what we need to do. Like, I don't want to give y'all steps and tell y'all what you need to do because I feel like we know what we need to do. Um, it's just sometimes you have to have those moments. Like, you have to let yourself have those moments and feel those things and like have that fear so that it can fuel you to become motivated to do the things that you know you need to do in order to get to where you want to be. And I just feel like that's where I'm at. Like, I just applied to a job last night, like looking online for jobs and stuff, and just trying to like figure out a way to minimize my anxiety in any way that I can. And I think that if you think about it long and hard enough, you know exactly what's going to help eliminate your anxiety. It might be a job, it might be facing your fear, it might be, I don't know, whatever that looks like for you. I feel like you know what that looks like for you. And for me, I told you guys what it looks like for me. So anyways, yeah, this was a lot today. This was just a big pile of word vomit in your ears, and I am so sorry and I apologize. However, I feel like you guys appreciate these episodes a little bit more because it's just me kind of talking real and raw and transparent with y'all. So anyways, every episode don't gotta have no bullet points, you feel me? But that's where I'm at, that's my life. And yeah, I'll tell you guys how we like the houses in next week's episode, I'm sure. Next week's episode is going to be a Black Friday little rundown plus gift guides. So I'm going to be giving y'all all the tea because I know next week? Yeah, next week is Thanksgiving, so Black Friday is coming up. And I know a lot of people are having their Black Friday sales now, and like all month long, but I'm going to try and share some like good deals with you guys and deals that I think are good, and then also just like gift guides for people in your life. So yeah, that's what you guys have to look forward to next week. It's gonna be fun, way more fun than this episode. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening to me every single week and my craziness and my thought process. But yeah, I'm gonna go now. I love y'all so much, and I will talk to you in my next episode. Bye.